Have you ever pondered the profound significance of tithing and giving unto God's kingdom? How these acts of faith not only strengthen our relationship with the divine, but also serve as a testament to our commitment to His work on earth. Tithing, a practice deeply rooted in biblical teachings, is more than a religious obligation. It is an act of worship, a tangible expression of our faith in God's providence. The book of Leviticus, chapter 27, verse 30 declares, "A tithe of everything from the land, whether grain from the soil or fruit from the trees, belongs to the Lord. It is holy to the Lord." Simply put, tithing is giving back to God what is already His, acknowledging Him as the provider of all we possess. It is setting aside a tenth of our income to support the church and its ministries, to aid those in need, and to spread the message of God's love and salvation. Then, there's the act of giving, a broader concept that encompasses not just monetary contributions, but also the sharing of time, talents, and resources for the benefit of others. In the book of Proverbs, chapter 19, verse 17, it is written, "Whoever is kind to the poor lends to the Lord, and He will reward them for what they have done." The scriptures also highlight the importance of sowing into good ground, which signifies investing our resources in places or people that yield positive spiritual growth. In the book of Luke, chapter 6, verse 38, we find the famous verse, "Give, and it will be given to you. A good measure, pressed down, shaken together, and running over, will be poured into your lap." The act of giving is not to be performed with an expectation of receiving, but from a place of love and obedience that God instills in our hearts. The greatest gift, as the scriptures remind us, is love, and above all else, charity. When we sow into others, we are essentially prioritizing their needs over ours, embodying the selflessness that Christ exemplified. It is not about disregarding our own needs, but rather about trusting in God's promise to provide for us. As we learn in the book of Matthew, chapter 11, verse 28, "Come to me, all you who are weary and burdened, and I will give you rest." In summary, tithing and giving are not just about financial transactions, but are profound expressions of our faith, love, and obedience to God. They allow us to participate in God's work on earth, to sow into good soil, and to experience the joy of selfless giving. Remember, when we give, we are not depleting our resources, but investing them in God's kingdom, filling up His treasure storehouse. And as promised in the book of Malachi, chapter 3, verse 10, "Bring the whole tithe into the storehouse, that there may be food in my house. Test me in this, says the Lord Almighty, and see if I will not throw open the floodgates of heaven and pour out so much blessing that there will not be room enough to store it." So let's continue to give freely, to tithe faithfully, and to trust in God's unfailing provision. After all, in the grand scheme of life, we are but stewards of God's abundant grace and blessings.